Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us on Friday night. Presumably, you all don't have a life and you've decided to come hang out with us while we interview Sticks, ask him some questions, get him talking a little bit. My name is Swiss from Brotato Capital. It is the 17th of the 1st, 2025, and we are interviewing Blockchaingod69, also known as Sticks, from X. Um, I've actually met Sticks in person a couple of times, hung out a couple of times, and this isn't the first time I'm actually speaking with him. He's been a really good long-time friend of mine, and it's been really exciting for him to come on and entertain some of the questions that I have today, and hopefully we can get some good things out of him, get him talking about a few things that he's interested in. Sticks is a real swell guy, in my opinion, really down to earth, very wholesome, always has time for anyone, even if their opinions are very, very broad. So, yeah, absolute pleasure to have Sticks on today to ask him some questions. So, if you do have any questions, feel free to pop them in the Twitch chat. And if we do have some time, we'll get to them and ask Sticks while we have him on. My internet is a little bit patchy, so if it drops out, we are recording this. Similar to one else one that we did, if it does drop out, we'll have it up on the tube for you guys to watch again. So fear not if you have to jump off. Cool. All right. I feel like I've gone through the lame intros that I didn't practice, as you can probably tell. So yeah, let's get into it. Sticks, how are you, man? Thanks for coming on.
Thanks for having me, man. Appreciate doing this little 1v1 pod that you're doing now. I like the series that you're doing. I hope you continue to do it with like a bunch of other people, not just from Brotato Capital, but yeah, just like heaps of other dudes from like Australia and everywhere else.
Yeah, I've given this a little bit of thought, and I think starting with you guys is like more than enough for me, as long as you guys get a forum to kind of talk and then reflect
Yeah,
back on
for
it.
sure.
But I like that idea. It did take me over an hour to figure out how to get this wallpaper behind us. So maybe not the I'm not the not the guru for this long term, but I have found this enjoyable to set up and work through my streaming skills. So yeah, no, I appreciate you coming on. I wanted to start with pretty easy one. When did you first hear about crypto and how did you get into it?
So initially first hearing about it, I think I was in like year 11 in high school, so I was about 16, 17. But obviously, most people hear about it and they either like just write it off as a scam or they don't have money. I mean, I probably did both. I didn't have any money and probably just didn't really have any interest in any sort of like financial markets or anything at that stage of my life.
Yeah,
Then fast forward, I think 3 years, 3 and a bit years later. So that was like 2017, and then fast forward like 3 years later, to like basically December 2020, like Jan, Feb, 2021. I bought like my first amount, like batch of crypto. It was just like I had no idea what I was doing. It was just I previously to that I was just speculating on like some Australian speculative mining stocks and shit like that. But
yeah,
so I had a sort of grasp for like really speculative shit, but so I knew like, they could crash pretty hard, they could go up really hard.
yeah,
But yeah, as I said, probably only chucked like about $2,000 into, just various shit coins. I think a bunch of them were like put like, 500 into BTC and then it was like Cardano, fuck, just just the classic starter pack that you'd start with in crypto. And then from there, yeah, as I said, didn't have much capital. And then sort of got lucky with like a horse racing bet, and that sort of propelled me to around having about 30K like liquid to play with because I didn't really have any money. So that sort of just got me to a point where I was like, okay, like I've got a bit of a bankroll now. And I still, when I won that money, I had no intention of putting into crypto. And then, another month goes by, and everything in 2021 started just ripping. YouTube, and I wasn't even on Twitter at this stage. I think I went on a couple, like 2 or 3 months later. But yeah, I was mainly getting my info from like YouTube and stuff like that, which isn't very good. It's usually the place where um, you know exit liquidity is found. So, um, yeah. So I had a bit of a bankroll, and yeah, that's sort of like my intro to crypto. And as with everyone, the first 3 or 4 months, it was just me learning in the space. I was sort of just trying to figure out like, and also learning on Twitter as well, because when you first go on Twitter, you get like the batch of CT grifters at the start, like the big accounts, with like 500K followers, and you got to sort of like filter your profile out. And it took like way longer than just like 1 year to really find the right accounts that I like, and that resonate with me. But in terms of the first couple months, I was just, yeah, basically just losing money. Aside from like what I was holding, it was sort of just me fiddling around, losing a bit of money, probably lost like 10, 15K, just like literally just playing around with shit, which was actually pretty like disheartening at the time, because I didn't really have much money to begin with. But um I think it set me up in a good place, because I don't think it would have been really good if I had just instantly made money in crypto. I probably would have assumed that it was just the norm, and I probably would have like got even more wrecked in the future. So, yeah, it was good intro. I think I always tell people like, when you first get into crypto, it's probably good to just like expect to just lose a little bit of money. I mean, obviously not to that extent, but like, yeah, it's you just need to learn how, whatever you're fiddling with, whether that be like on chain or just buying shit in general and handling the volatility. But yeah,
Yeah, nice.
that's about it.
Um, so you pretty much started, well, you made a bit of 30K from outside of crypto, and then that was your bankroll to get into crypto. You saw it ripping, you were learning from YouTube, you started losing early, about like 10 to 15K.
Yeah.
You think it's probably
Yeah,
good
so
to lose money to start with. Yeah. I was going to ask
probably
you.
not that much, but I think like if yeah, sorry, are you there?
No, that's all good. I was just going to ask, how did you go from like noob to knowledgeable during that pretty like because like you've said things like you were learning from YouTube, but you didn't think that was good to do reflecting on it, and you kind of have the perspective that losing money early gives you like a pretty good all-round sense of what to expect, but that probably only comes with experience. So yeah, so how did you go from noob to knowledgeable essentially?
Yeah, so like I think one or two crashes can sort of turn you from like a noob to like a more experienced crypto speculator in a sense. So like after, when the first crash happened, my first like big crash, which was like, the April or whatever, May top of 2021,
Yeah.
that was sort of just a good intro into like figuring out like what, like filtering out like grifters and everything else. Because like obviously when you first come into the space, like I mean, I don't really know many people that just like came into the space and just like instantly made money and instantly just like got like 500x on their coins and shit like that. It's pretty rare to like do that. So like I think having that initial crash in the first like 2 months of me buying and selling crypto was like really good. In hindsight, even though it sounds terrible that you're losing money, but it sort of just like prepares you for like what can come about in the future, and it sort of just like gives you more perspective of like um how you can get like an edge in the market, and like if you're really early or if you're really late. And I know it's like difficult to find like top signals and stuff like that, but
Mm.
um I think it's just really good to, as bad as it sounds, to like experience like a day a crash where like everything nukes like 30-40% in a day. It's like, it's very like, it doesn't really happen that often now. Maybe I'm, jinxing it and it's going to happen soon, but it's just like, it sort of just gets you in the right mindset of like, okay, so this is like the game, and it's,
Mm.
it can be like this, in some periods. That's the risk you take. But I think the first one, yeah, it prepared me somewhat, but everything sort of went back up in the end of the year. So I was just like, oh, this is just standard, like, another correction, and we'll probably go up again.
Yeah.
But then, when the actual top happened, I had like made a bit of money on a few shit coins. There was because everything was like, for instance, like anything you bought, with if it was like L1 tech or
Yeah.
anything like that, like if you were just like somewhat early to it, you would have made like money. I mean, obviously, I round trip still a lot of money, but I still made a tiny bit of money, which was like a good amount for me to sort of have a good starting balance. Like I made some money on it was proof of work L1 called Cadena, and also I caught a bit of like the Nia trade. But these two were like right at the end of the cycle, so my expectation was they were gonna like do what like Solana and Polygon did, where
Yeah.
so I was just like bag holding them, um, and they did go quite high, but I was just like expecting they were going to go way higher. I'm like, I'm going to make like easy 7 figures, but I like obviously didn't, and
Easy. Easy 7.
and I ended up like selling it 50-60% from all time highs, which yeah, I mean it's good. It's a good learning. It's just good to learn that you know sometimes you can be really delusional, and then sometimes it just doesn't work out for you.
Yeah.
And um it was just really like when the actual bear market happened, I went through that phase of like where most CT, like you get like delusional, where in the sense that you think that this is just like another big correction, and like will reverse, because like you're so conditioned to like the market going back up, but it just like really didn't. And that was like super hard to deal with at the start, because I was just like so used to the up only and easy mode of like the end of 2021.
Yeah.
So I really had to like, as I said, go on CT and filter to make like a good not good list of like alpha, because it's like accounts just talk what they think, but more just like um just get like more realistic views on like the market, and more like just like more logical and realistic, not just like super delusional or like super bearish. Like I wanted more like realistic and just like normal people talking, not like full blown KOLs saying like we're going to 8K, or the
Yeah.
other one saying we're going to 1 million. Like it was hard to do at the start, but yeah, took a few months and did that. And I was sort of just I was working at the time as well, so which was good, because I was pouring so much of my like wage into crypto, and obviously it just kept going. Like I remember I was just like aping like really heavily in when the lunar crash was happening, just to like stuff like ETH
Yeah.
and um and like even Sol, and I just kept like going lower, and you get that thought of like like, is this actually going to zero? And it's like it's not a nice feeling, but but I sort of just stuck it out, and I was I was just like I was so like ingrained in the space, like that like how everyone now, you can't like there's people on CT with like 9 figures, and they can't even leave, like
Yeah.
even though they've like completely made it out of the trenches. And I thought I sort of had that feel where I was like, I'm DCAing into these like into the majors, and I'm just getting rinsed
Mm.
really hard. Like I buy and I go down another 5%. But I was just so like intrigued in the space, and I was like, I just can't like. There's just no way this like ends like forever. Like I was just so like ingrained in it and obsessed with it.
Yeah.
to a point where I was just like always like just checking price, always checking CT, always like I was just even I couldn't like lock out of it. Like I would be at work and I was just like every chance I had to look at my phone, I would like, go. That was like the first thing I checked. So it was kind of an obsession at some point, which is good and bad because like obviously price went back up, but yeah, could have been bad as well. But yeah, that was sort of my, to answer your question, way of figuring out how to navigate my way through the markets. It was a combination of like experiencing like really bad and like stuff like the Luna crash was like, in my opinion, for me personally, was like way worse than the FTX crash, because of like 3AC were liquidating like all their ETH, and I was like super heavy
Yeah.
ETH, and so for me it felt way worse than the FTX crash. I was already like, I had already felt the FTX crash was like, I was like, oh, this is like the same as Luna, and I was just like, ah, this is just another one, even though it was terrible, but
Yeah.
um I genuinely thought that one was the one where that really tested me mentally. But yeah, it's, as I said, combination of like crashes, just trying to find like really logical and like just normal people on CT, not just freaking like KOLs like shilling like, we're gonna go to like $10 million, stock to flow model BS, and then obviously like you've got like your perma bears that like were literally saying like there's no intrinsic value, it's going to zero. So it's like you need some like-minded, realistic people, I think.
Yeah. No, that's awesome, man. So basically, you're saying experiencing bad corrections, filtering out info on things like CT and all the other sort of platforms, and like I think you mentioned two crashes here. So it was the Luna
Mm,
and the FTX. You said you were aping ETH on the Luna crash? Was that where
yeah,
you
and the
found your?
2021, like,
Oh, you go.
yeah,
You go.
well, like going, yeah, like I was aping it as it was crashing, so like I didn't actually catch the bottom, but I was just like, I couldn't even buy anymore at 800. I was like, I'm out. That was why it was so mentally tough, but yeah.
Yeah. No, that's fair. And would you say that that was when you were like peak obsessed with like price data, CT, and charts, like on the way down? Was that when you were starting to like get the hang of things and when you started getting like the most amount of your confidence?
Yeah, well, I think as like cringe and cliche as it sounds, because there was so much like you know, macro talk that year because of rates and inflation and all this crap. Like you kind of just learn basic economics, if that makes sense. Just like like I don't even care about like the pure macroeconomics, like half of CT does, but it's good to actually understand how like the world works, because I didn't do any sort of financial, I didn't do like finance in high school, or I
Yeah.
like at uni I didn't do finance. I have like a psychology degree, but
Yeah.
um yeah, so I had no like perception of like you know, money printing, like physical deficit. Like I didn't understand any of this. And just like understanding it was just a good like starting point. Like obviously I don't trade macro and stuff, but it's like good to know that like, okay, like they're printing so much money, like BTC like has to have some value at some point if it has demand. Like it's just like basic shit like that most normal people don't understand. Like they're debasing the currency, like all
Mm.
this just like real basic shit that I like, that it sounds like really cringe and cliche on CT, because like left curves don't really care about that, but it's just like it's good to understand that sort of logical like information at some point. But yeah, that was just sort of when I was like peak obsessed. I was like putting all my money, not all my money, but like a good portion of my wage into um into crypto at that point. And I mean, like I was putting it in and it was like going down, so like it was me just like just DCAing in and hoping we find a bottom soon. It was, yeah, it was tough, but it was like good learning experience.
Yeah. Do you think it was the general, like the shift in general finance knowledge and understanding of like the money supply and government spending and all that other stuff that sort of filters into crypto? Do you think that once you got more of a handle on that, that helped bolster your understanding of how, I guess, all this works?
Yeah, I think like after COVID, I sort of like had just like thoughts of like, Gen Z's future and just like wealth inequality, just like really random stuff like that. And I'm like, and it was mainly me just being like, I can't see how you could ever really get ahead unless you have a really like high paying job. Like if you have an average job, you just like simply can't get ahead
Yeah,
in life. You'll probably just fall behind while like governments like inflate the money supply and create like asset inflation. So it's like it's really difficult to get ahead unless you have like, a really high paying job,
yeah,
or you're speculating on really like risky asset classes, or like mainly risk on assets, whether that be like, tech stocks or anything in general. But
yeah,
it's I just had like I was just like I can't just see myself just um like working and going off your super, what do they call it in America, like Roth IRA or something, and just
yeah,
like being content with that. It was more just me being like, I'm quite young, like I'm happy to like take a risk, and like, if I waste 2 years doing this, like, I mean, yeah, it sucks, but it's not the end of the world. Like I can, just go back to work and earn it back. I might be like a year or two behind everyone else, but that's cool. Like I don't really care.
yeah,
It was more just me being like the opportunity, and like of being young, and not having a family, or being able to just be like, I can put a good portion of my wage into like really risky shit that might pay off in the future. But yeah, that was mainly the thought of behind it all. Just being like, like everything just seems to be getting worse for the younger generation, and the older generation seems to be getting like a lot richer. So yeah, it was just like basic like logical, as I said, like really logical stuff like that. Yeah, is what I was just basing it off.
yeah.
Nothing like too fancy.
No, yeah, and you've said that before, and I thought that was really well said. So I'll have to probably find the tweet of where you said that. But basically, it sounds like there was an opportunity to get ahead early because you don't have any kids and you're super young. And the worst case scenario, if you can't hyper gamble or smartly invest your way into a higher sort of bracket, the worst case is you're just a couple of years behind your peers. I think like your tweet says it a lot better, and we might have to dig it up and maybe put it as an overlay. But
Yeah.
yeah, I think the way that you frame that was really good. And so this probably does this come back to the fact that you just generally think an average job won't get you there? Like, is it really you've just come to the
Yeah.
decision that it's
If
it's
you
kind
have
of
a
over?
high pay,
Mm,
yeah, like if you have a high paying job, like you don't really have any problems.
yeah,
Like a really high paying job, like I'm saying, like if the average wage is like 60, 70K, like you're earning like 300,000 plus, like you have no issues whatsoever. But like 95% of people just don't have that,
yeah,
like aren't earning that. Most people are literally earning like under 100,000, and um you basically just can't like even buy a home for $100,000. So
yeah,
if you can't really buy a home, then it kind of defeats the purpose of um just like working full time, because like for me, I would say like working full time, I'd be happy to work full time 40 hours a week if I was able to buy a home and like have a family with like two kids, and be able to like, I wouldn't even care if you know my wife had to work as well, if we could both earn an average. But like you still can't even do that on an average income with both.
yeah,
You can barely pay a mortgage like with two people on an average income. So
yeah,
um it's stuff like that, that it's just like it seems to be getting worse. And like with inflationary like fiat debt and stuff like that, I can't really see it going backwards. It's just gonna like accelerate, because like governments aren't gonna just like um let like everything crash, because like basically everyone in government has their entire net worth in real estate and stocks. So that if that crashed, like their lives would be shit. So
yeah.
they won't let that they won't let that happen. So they'll just inflate the money supply even more and ruin young people's lives, probably even more at some degree. So it'll be. I mean, at some point it's going to get like pretty extreme, but I don't really know. I think they can keep doing it for a lot longer. Until it like actually becomes like fucked. So,
Yeah.
while they keep ruining everyone's lives, you might as well. Swiss.
Yeah, you there?
Oh, sorry, it cut. Sorry, my mic. Uh, knocked it out. But yeah, as I was saying, um, yeah, I think we have like a little window of, you know, I don't know however long, but it's probably still best to just be to be pretty risk on when you're young. I mean, obviously when you get older, you have kids, you
Yeah.
settle down. Some people won't obviously do that because they can't afford it, but it's a lot different. But yeah, I'm like I'm happy to be like extremely risk on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's cool. That's cool. I think the context definitely helps me understand your sort of level of risk tolerance and your ability to trade really well. I wanted to bring it back to crypto. Just when you were kind of getting into that bull market, the first time around, um, how did you go about finding conviction belief in investments? Because you said that you kind of went from YouTube down to like the good part of CT and the level of information there. Were you kind of like buying random stuff with the understanding that this thing is secular like a cycle, or were you like, no, I actually believe in Cardano because it will be changing the world, and I'm happy to hold it through all these like drawdowns and swings? Like, what was that like for you?
So originally, like when I first got into crypto, I actually believed in like a lot of the coins that I held. So
Oh,
like
okay,
I
yep,
remember, yeah. So like I actually remember buying this proof of work L1, like when all the L1 coins were popping off last cycle, called Cadena, and I was like convinced. I was like, well, if in the bear market, if this goes down really low, I can just accumulate it. And that was like my thesis. It was like some random shitcoin like I actually believed in. And I mean there was multiple instances of that, not just like that coin itself, but that was sort of like how I got into crypto in and how I like sort of became like delusional with some coins, but then as time went on, I've sort of adapted this mindset of like if I'm early to a coin, like from a valuation standpoint, and like we sort of know now like what valuations are early and what aren't. Like you can basically just figure it out by market cap on some projects. But like if I'm like relatively early, I'll be like semi delusional, but at some point like I just don't believe in 90 like most coins at this point. But recently like hype is one of the coins that I actually like semi believe in,
yep.
like longer than, and by saying this I mean like longer than like 6 to 8 months.
Oh,
um
longer than 6 to 8 months.
yeah, like not like just like not like something like BTC where it's like a 5 year plan, but like not something where it's like a month. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
um like so it's taken me a while because like this whole cycle I've like not believed really in much of the tech, and which has like sort of brought me to trade like meme coins because there wasn't really anything good to buy, if that makes sense, aside from like BTC and like a couple of the majors. Like I couldn't really find something where I was like happy to hold it for a while, so it was more me just like being like, well, I just gotta buy memes because they're more like organic, and I'm not going to get dumped on, and like the people who hold them are retarded. But yeah, for once, like this cycle, I've actually found something where it's like it's not just like some dog shit like BS that the founders or the team's going to do like an OTC deal over the counter and just like nuke the chart or whatever. But
yeah,
um, it's been, yeah, as I said, when I first started in crypto, like believed in a lot of the coins, went into 2023 not really believing in much aside from like BTC ETH, like barely, didn't really believe in like Sol, and like on the side I was just like shit coining with memes, but it was always It was always like with the intent to like put it back into either BTC or ETH, and it was mainly ETH at the time. But um, and then as like time went on, and we've come to the end of 2024, it was sort of just like I've been trading memes the whole time. Like it would be good if I could find something that actually I can like somewhat believe in, and like I can think of as in like more of an investment rather than a just like a speculative, like extractive way of making money, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, I think that's really interesting. So what you were saying is like basically up until probably Hype launched or maybe a few others, you weren't really bullish on anything, but you were happy to trade the garbage because the garbage was fun and the bag, like the holder base was your words redacted, which I think is like very fair assessment looking back in that period of time. Um, how did you go in the bear market then? Because if you're saying now you're like happy to hold hype for, a pretty long time horizon, like 6 to 12 months, and you were fine trading the meme coins because you didn't actually really believe in anything else. Um, what was the bear market like for you then with trying to build conviction in things and hold them long term?
Well, I like literally didn't build any conviction in any coins aside from mainly it was like ETH,
Mm,
and like I didn't even buy Sol really. Like I was like using Sol a bit, but like I wasn't accumulating it like some people were, like Z was and a few others.
yeah,
It was mainly like ETH because, and this is pretty funny, and one of like what I think my mistake was is because it was so comfortable to hold in like compared to other coins.
yeah,
Like it had all of the like best aspects that you want in a bear market. Like it was like it went through its like proof of stake thing, which was like a narrative, which was like anti it was like good because it was like energy friendly, like so in the bear market, like stuff like that like helps with a coin, like and because there's like so many negatives to stuff, and when there's like one positive, when like the whole world was caring about like energy and all that like green energy and stuff, like that was like one thing, and then there was like ETH didn't make another low and during the FTX.
yeah,
And then what else? Like people were using ETH, like speculating on ETH at the time, and then everyone obviously most people moved to Sol. But it was stuff like that that made it like so comfortable to hold through the bear market that it was just like an easy hold for me to not like capitulate in the space, if that makes sense. It was
yeah, I'm
like
with you.
it was
Yeah,
like it wasn't of it was obviously like one of the not like there was so many other coins I could have bought that were like way better, and like in hindsight, like yeah, like getting a 2.5x, I could have got a 10x on Sol, but for me, like it was easier me holding because I knew like ETH wasn't gonna like die, whereas I like wasn't sure if Sol would even be around this cycle, and like obviously it was, and I pivoted, at some point to Sol and on their ecosystem, but it's like it's people on like people say stuff, oh, like I did this in the bear market. It's like, well, like most people just didn't, and it's like really hard to tell what coins to buy in the bear market because
yeah,
like most of them like became irrelevant. Like if you go look at like coins like Polygon, coins um fuck, like I can't even name them. Like the one I mentioned before, like Cadena, like
yeah,
there's just all these coins are just like so relevant now. Like they don't even do any volume. Like they're just gonna bleed to zero. And
yeah.
um like it's pretty hard to just build a conviction on an altcoin. It's much easier to build a conviction on something that is making money or like has network activity or something like that. So holding ETH, as much as I say like it was like more of a mid curve play compared to like other coins, like could have obviously held BTC or like Sol or anything like that, but it like allowed me to like just rock up every day, be in the space when like everything was down bad, and I was just happy to do it. And also it allowed me to like experiment on chain because I didn't really do much on chain stuff in 2021. like I fiddled around with NFTs, but like it was more just me like losing money, like losing like $400, 500, like randomly, instead of actually making money. But once I like actually got learning, you know, playing around with ETH and like right at the end of 2022, and then when Pepe sort of went off in 2023, that was like
Yeah.
sort of when I was like, okay, like I'm enjoying my time on chain. And yeah, then it like expanded to me speculating on other coins on ETH, like NFTs, like Pudgy Penguin and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So like all that shit, like as much as I say, oh, like ETH was a shit investment, it was actually like probably the best like investment I've made because it allowed me to just like branch out and like actually do real stuff on chain and in crypto and just like yeah, it was good.
Yeah, nice. Were you much of an on-chain sort of person in the previous cycle before the likes of like Pepe kind of took off?
No, I wasn't. As I said, like I basically only I fiddled on Sol at the end of 2021, and it was to buy like I think it was this NFT project called like Kaiju's or something, and it was like I think ended up losing like $400 all up. And then that was like my one of my first on-chain experiences because I was like basically just buying shit on like Binance and just
Yeah.
holding it. Like it was I was like just doing really like normal and like putting it into a crypto like wallet or what like a hot wallet or something. Like that was the extent of like what I was doing like throughout most of 2021. Back end of 2021 was like when I sort of started to play around on chain.
Yeah.
And so like I didn't do like all that like all those Ponzi's like time like Wonderland, all that shit on like AVAX. And I like obviously I heard about it, but I just like never participated in any of it.
Yeah.
And there was yeah, and then like ETH, there was a few ETH NFTs that I just fucked around with. Probably like collectively lost like 15, $2,000 playing with them. But as I said, like at least I understood like how to do shit on chain. And it's like obviously there's better ways to do it. Like I could have like just, fucked around with like $200 instead of $2,000.
Yeah.
But like I learned like pretty quickly because I had lost like, $2,000 quickly. I was like, okay, I've learned like quickly that like you got to be like pretty switched on with what you buy and like you got to like be early or you got to like yeah, it was it was a good experience. And then yeah, 2022 didn't do a lot of like on-chain stuff. Back end of 2022 is when um I sort of just started fiddling around with some stuff like
Yeah.
like Lido was coming around and staking ETH and shit like that was coming around. And then
Yeah.
early 2021, that's when like the real stuff started with Pepe. I reckon that sort of started like a meme coin super cycle type operation. But yeah, that was sort of just when I really fucked centralized exchanges off, and I just sort of did most of my stuff on chain, and
Yeah.
I like sort of never really looked back. And yeah, it was, as I said, like being all in ETH might sound stupid, but it actually allowed me the flexibility of like, gambling with a bit of money on chain, learning some stuff while like knowing that like, okay, like ETH probably won't go to zero if it didn't go to zero during FTX. So yeah, that was like more of the rationale behind it.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy to think that Pepe went from like we were there, right? Like we saw
Oh,
the
it's crazy,
inception of
man.
it. It went to 1 billion, and then it just like kind of did nothing for ages. And now when you look at the market cap and you go, that may have been the only thing I needed to hold during that period
Yeah.
of time.
Well, it was
Yeah,
yeah, it was so funny because I had yeah, like I had bought Pepe, like didn't get in early or anything. Probably got like well, like I think in the end I got like a 6x with like not much money,
yeah,
mind you, but it was such a good feeling. Like that was sort of where I like started to speculate more on chain because I was like, wow, like this is like kind of like when there's like a P coin like Pepe, many people can make money so quickly.
yeah,
And then all those other coins popped up like Ticker Bitcoin and all that, and that sort of just started my on-chain like meme coin journey because I never obviously never did any of the other coins like Floki or any of those on Binance. I didn't really participate in any of that stuff in 2021 Binance Smart Chain. But yeah, nah, it was crazy. That was probably like one of the craziest things because it was in the bear market and it ran so high. I was like, wow, like okay, this just happened. Like this could happen again at any point. And yeah, now it's happened like hundreds of times over. But yeah,
Yeah. I was going to say, did you, when you were talking about being all in ETH, it wasn't a bad thing. Do you think it was the fact that you had some and you found it a lot easier to go spend it to gamble on all these sort of things? Like that was the benefit of
yeah,
ETH. And then further to that, do you think that's why you were drawn to Sol because you could kind of do the same thing, but it was quicker?
yeah. So I was like so comfortable like in the ETH ecosystem, just like once I learned how to do stuff on chain, even like paying, if the gas was like $10, I was like, this sucks. But I was just like comfortable and felt like really like because everyone else was on ETH and I had learned how to do stuff, I was like, okay, I'm like super comfortable on here. Like I love like this chain's so good. Like it was the bag that I accumulated the most of
Yeah.
over the bear market, and I was just like happy to speculate with a bit of my money if it could mean I could accumulate more ETH with it. And then, once um Sol on chain came around, it was sort of like and stuff like Whiff and all that stuff started coming around. It was sort of just like the same process, and I was like, well, I I was still like so felt so comfy on ETH, but there was like a few things that were pissing me off on ETH, and I hadn't switched over from like I was still using like MetaMask, and there was just like a lot of things. And once I like started using Phantom, I was like, oh man, this is like really like clean. Obviously like gas was cheap, but um, it was just I just had to like sort of swallow my pride and move over because like a lot of other people had.
Yeah.
And that's like it's something like it's hard to do because like you get like attached to this like one chain or one coin or whatever in the bear, and it's just like did all that stuff on there, and then you're like, oh well, then now I got to go on this like random new chain. I mean, Sol's not like a new coin, but it was like it didn't really have much activity prior in comparison to like what it has now. And I was like,
Yeah.
it was quite interesting in the first. It took me like I needed yeah what took me a few weeks to sort of get the hang of stuff on Sol because at the start it was very like because the gas was so cheap, everyone was just selling stuff like instantly. So like coins would just like not go very high at all. So I was like, fuck this chain, man. Like it's just like no one's like really no one wants to like hold shit because you can just sell shit for like 1 cent or whatever, or like a fraction of
Yeah.
a cent. Um, and that like pissed me off because I'd been used to like, paying $10 gas, and I'm like, well, I'm not gonna just sell it instantly because I just paid $10 for it. But eventually there was like once like Whiff and a bunch of other coins on Sol actually became a consensus trade. It sort of people sort of started to believe more in it. It sort of just like you know grew from there. And I don't, like I haven't been doing much stuff on Sol lately. Like
Yeah.
I've mainly just moved a lot of money over to Hyperliquid. I still have like Popcat, but
Yeah.
aside like yeah, I've done Sol for like a whole year. And now I've like sort of moved a lot of funds to Hyperliquid. So yeah.
Yeah. Do you think that because obviously this is my reason why I went over to Seoul. Do you think that when you met Z for the first time, that he was kind of one of the people that helped you decide to kind of go over to Solana and explore it during that period of time to at least start, like start trading, start feeling it out? Um, yeah,
Yeah, 100%. Like Z was probably like the probably like 80% of the reason why I went on to Sol. Like I mean, I probably would have gone on it eventually, but I would have been like really late compared to what I was
yeah,
earlier. And I do remember like when we all met up in real life, Z was like the one dude who was like accumulating Sol, and it like was not consensus at all. Like
mm,
BTC ETH obviously like were probably more consensus, and everyone was just like kind of scared at that point. And Z sort of just like he sort of told me how to taught me more so that you should crank up your risk like at the beginning of like a market shift with
yeah,
like people like I remember I was like coins like fuck, I don't even know what coins were around, but there was like coins that were around, and I was chucking like you know, like $2,000 into them, which I thought was like kind of like a lot because it was a new chain, and I was like, I don't really want to like put a bunch in. But Z was like very like heavily convicted in it, and he was like throwing like, you know, 10 grand and stuff, and
Yeah.
I was like, okay, and like this is when it was like right, like fresh, like like Soul Trenches were just popping off, and I'm like, damn, this dude like he really like believes in this chain, and like credit to him, like he was just sort of taught me like if you find something like early and like it has a lot of potential, you should probably like not obviously like size up into it, but you should crank up your risk tolerance more than like what you would normally do, because like usually at the start of a trend, or it's like much better to crank up your risk, and it's like it's actually riskier to do it like obviously later on in the trend. So yeah.
Yeah. I also applaud Z for the fact that it wasn't just he was accumulating it, it was he was selling his Ethereum for it. He was like
Yeah.
proper, like, I don't believe ETH has the upside. I believe that Solana does. And really sticking to that during a period of time, which arguably was, in my opinion, pretty tough to do that. Which is why I kind of like, similar to you. I was like I knew of Seoul, but like I didn't really feel the need to go over there because I kind of thought pretty much everything that was consensus at the time about it and why it was bad was like enough for me to kind of go, yeah, I don't need to look further. So without Z, similar to you, I probably would have never have gone over there, or if I did, it would have been pretty late. You did mention about risk, and he taught you about going in heavy towards the lows or at the start, and then kind of being able to de-risk on the way out. Do you have any examples of like where you've applied investing or trading frameworks that have like paid off for you? And if so, what did you kind of, if you've made some mistakes, what did you learn this time around? And then how did you apply that? And yeah, if you had any examples to talk about.
um like with coins that like I don't believe in, like
Mm,
obviously like longer term, or just trying to like make money. It's this at the start of the cycle, like I remember at the start of the year, I was I still had a bit of that like bear market PTSD, where I had learnt to like sell garbage if
mm,
I was like making a lot of money on it. But I hadn't really like, so at some point, like if you're super early to something, it does pay to be like semi delusional,
yeah,
within reason, obviously. But it there was an instance where I bought a coin. What was it? It was on ETH. It was called Pandora,
yeah,
and I got in like super early, like got in at like 3 mil market cap or something, and um, like overnight, I think it ran to like 40 mil or something, and I was like, this was like one of my first runners where I actually put like a bit of money into,
yeah.
and I couldn't believe it. I'm like, oh my god, and I was so like conditioned to like be like, okay, like can't round trip this, gotta like take profits, and like obviously you like you're not gonna like nothing wrong with like taking profits, like obviously like it's in the long run like still the best strategy to do, but um it was sort of like a good lesson to where um I was clipping out like as it was going higher, but I had already sold like a huge portion of it at like 40 mil. Um and it was like in my head I'm like, it's the second cycle syndrome where you get like the PTSD from like previous cycle, and you know you get you start to like paper hand stuff or sell it like way too early. Which is like, I mean, it's very difficult to like know which coins are going to run, like
Mm,
obviously. So that was like one instance where I sort of was like at some point with, if I'm like super early to a coin, I think I should be semi delusional. But um yeah, at the start of the market uptrend in like start of 2024, I was like a bit had a bit of PTSD.
mm,
But that sort of all went away once I had made that like one trade with Pandora, because I'm like, oh, like fuck, it went to like 400 mil. That's crazy. Like, and I sort of adapted a slightly more delusional mindset with some coins, that I was like not obviously long term believing in, but I was still just like, we're in a bull market. Like, um, if you want to make like really good gains and you're early to something, you should probably try and bag hold a bunch of it. But it's hard, man. Like, there's such a luck element to it as well. Like, I can
Yeah.
come here and give advice to people, but it's like at some point it's like you need luck. Like,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. I
it's
also
yeah,
I was fortunate enough to be there at the time when you were talking about it in the chat, and I I agree because I think you traded it initially before going to bed, before that massive move up to 40 mil. I think you traded it initially, sold, and then rebought, and then essentially captured
yeah,
the majority of that move. And I was like, yeah, that's pretty cool. I do find it like really interesting that you were kind of like, well, if it went from 3 million to 400 million, I guess meat's back on the menu, right? Like, it's like, yeah, well, anything's possible. I think these are the conditions for where you can have some sort of delusional mindset to apply to a whole range of investments, right?
yeah, 100%. It's especially like with like super speculative stuff, like meme coins more so than anything. It was like that after Pandora. It sort of just was. I was like, well, these are just like speculative in nature. You can't actually value them. So, if you are early, it doesn't hurt to be like slightly delusional with them, even if it means, um, round tripping like a specific amount of money. But um, it's it's we've seen in previous cycles like how stupid some of these valuations can get to. So after that, I sort of was like of the mindset where like, okay, I made a good trade. Could have made like obviously a lot more, but um, if this is a true bull market, like it can pay to be somewhat delusional. But yeah, it's there's a fine line because you need, as I said, the luck of being in the right coin. Your coin could go up a lot and then completely go back down. So yeah,
Yeah, and it's
it's a
so.
hard one. It's
I think
so
also
tough.
the timing too. So like,
Yeah.
how did you go with those secular on-chain seasons, so to speak? So like Pandora ran from 3 million to like 400 million, and there was things like Bohm with PopCat, but then there was also periods of time where those sort of things did pull back like to the point where you could have thought it would have been over. So like how did you go with those situations?
I think with stuff like PopCat, and because like I was in PopCat when Z told us to buy it.
Yeah,
Um,
let's see.
I didn't buy yeah, I didn't buy Whiff, but it was more so like me being somewhat delusional, and the fact that all like my people that I trust are like in it as well.
Yeah,
So like, I feel like if I was in it on my own, obviously you need to build like your own conviction, and I did. I was like quite delusional, but
yeah.
it did obviously help that we were like a bunch of us were all in this similar boat.
Mm.
And we were just like trying to just, as like stupid as it sounds, like just manifest it going higher. Um, obviously at some point, like, you know, it'll top out, or it might have, I don't know, but it's an interesting one because it they're so like they're so volatile to a point where you can, like a lot of people just simply trade the volatility like in zones, like, so like people will just like, if it's down like 70-80%, they'll just bid it just because it's down 70-80%, because like there's no way of valuing it. And like if it, but then, if it runs X amount, and you're late, like you'll get wrecked because you're gonna cop the 60-70% down move. So it's really difficult to sort of understand. And for me, PopCat was like, once I'd bought it, I'd already realized, I'm like, well, I'm just gonna hold this for a year. And everything else was sort of just like an extractive trade, if you will. Like there was
Yeah.
obviously a bunch of plays that, I filtered through the whole, through the last 6 months on chain, but
Yeah.
I don't own like any of them now really, and like so Popcat's like the only one that I own. So, it was that was also part of the reason why I'm like still holding it to this day, where it's like I was just willing to just hold it for a year, and then see what happens after that. But with all the other plays, a lot of the like on chain seasons were really crazy because like you get this like 2 week or 3 week like little like gap or little like window of opportunity where you could like make a lot of money
Yeah.
if you were like switched on or in the right coins or early to them, if not. But if you like didn't like clip out of a lot of these coins, or you're still bag holding a bunch of them, like you just got like wrecked when the BTC was ranging and it would go to its range of lows, and all these coins would just get like absolutely destroyed, and you wouldn't know which ones were going to come back or not. And it was really difficult. Like a lot of them obviously just went to zero. Some came back, but it um it was like it it sort of like built you up, like just like to be like so fast and so like with information, with like now like I'm at a point where I'm like so quick to react to things, like so it just like it just sort of speed runs like your entire like dopamine receptors, and just like doing everything like this whole
Yeah.
meme coin, because it's just so much quicker than last cycle. Like last cycle it was like the main speculative asset was like NFTs, and it was like they're so slow in comparison to like meme coins, where like I don't know, some dude can just fucking dump like 6 figures of a meme coin, and like the chart just nukes like 25% instantly. So it's like it's they're just so much, like you just got to be like really switched on with them, and that's like part of the reason why I've just sort of taken a step back from them. I'm still holding PopCat, but then gone to Hype because yeah, it's just like the speed level of it is like it's so like I feel like it's like unsustainable. I feel like for
Yeah.
your physical and mental health if you're doing this on a daily basis for like more. Like I've been doing it for like 6 months, and I'm just like, oh, I need a break. Yeah,
Yeah, that's fair.
yeah,
I actually think that it was cool that you made the comparison between NFTs and meme coins, because objectively looking at them, NFTs kind of felt more uh I can't, what's the word I'm looking for? Like new and shiny, because it was like something
yeah,
you could hold, and then kind of be like, oh my God, this, sappy seal is like a pet of mine. I've spent
yeah.
$14,000 on it. It is me, and then making that comparison to the meme coins being completely different this cycle and having to be switched on. Do you think for like the stuff that you didn't believe in, so everything outside of PopCap, do you think that like less emotion was better to trade in these conditions?
Um, yeah, no, like there was coins where like there's been like a bunch of coins where I was probably better off still holding them to this day, but I think in the long run, like for like physical mental health, like
Mm,
I think it's better to just like find like one or two or three of these like meme coins, and just like whether that be, I don't know, the ones that have run already, like I don't know what they're gonna do, but I'm saying like in hindsight, like if you pick, take a Bitcoin, like SPX, like Popcat, with whatever one, like I think it was just better to like hold like two or three of them, instead of doing this like whole rotational game of musical chairs, because it gets like really tiring. And I mean, obviously it can be like physically draining as well, holding like with all these and PopCap through like all these corrections. um but for me, it was like a lot harder, and I was playing like a lot of these coins, just like just trying to get a triple on it or something. Like I was just it was so I didn't even know what I was doing. Like really, it was me just trying to be like, okay, it's down a lot. Like I can buy it hopefully, and it goes up.
mm,
It wasn't really anything else, because as I said, I didn't know what to buy. Um, and like obviously, I probably should have just at some point just put a full port of BTC, but which would have been like the more brain dead strategy. Um, but yeah, it's like I just don't. I feel like it's if you're just like doing that every day, um, it's to get and obviously pump fun proliferated like even further to a point where now it's like so hard. You can't even send um like it's hard to send stuff without utility now over like 100 mil. Like you've got all these like AI agents, and
Mm,
that's not even like real trench money. I feel that's more like VC money coming into the trenches, I feel like.
yeah,
So without like that money, I feel like the trenches would have been so fucked. And that's why like a lot of meme coins right now are struggling. Aside from like the really like culturally relevant ones, like like Pepe, like SPX, um, I don't know, like Giga or something. But
yeah,
yeah, a lot of them are like pretty like um are struggling just because of this like pump fun endless loop of like infinite dilution of memes. And it sort of just gives me like a lot of NFT nostalgia and like feel about it because like at the like I'm not saying this is a top at all because like pump fun is like you can just infinitely print new meme coins, but like when memes were I mean when NFTs were like really kicking off, every like one was just trying to like create a collection really quickly.
yeah,
Just getting it onto OpenSea was like what you had to do. You just had to like get one up there and just like pray you minted it out, and you would have made, fucking 100, 200, 300K like really quickly.
yeah,
And it was sort of like that. And it's like it's gonna be like a shame because a lot of these coins are just gonna like obviously go to zero. But hopefully I'm hoping based off previous cycles because of stuff like Shiba and obviously Doge, and other coins from last cycle. Like I'm hoping like the really culturally relevant ones like Pepe, SPX, and like all those, like it would be really cool if I could like if like they do survive and like even if they crash like 80-90%, like they come back like again one day, and that would be like really cool. And I mean I hope they continue to go up in the near future because I still think we're in a bull market, but
yeah,
it's the majority of those coins they're just like never gonna like ever like go back up to their all-time highs because they're just like there's just no buyers. But um hopefully the ones that I'm in up. But
the more important
but
ones.
yeah, but it's just like really difficult with like the infinite dilution problem is it's okay, if you've got capital flowing in, but which like I think we do have capital flowing in because we're in a bull market, but
Yeah,
eventually when it just dries up, it's gonna be really hard to just like there's just so many coins, and
yeah,
it's like the ones like as I said, Pepe and all like the really culturally relevant ones will probably like be fine, but um like it's really it's just like yeah with NFTs same thing. It's like you want to, as like you alluded to previously, you got to find ones that are like really culturally relevant and like investable,
mm,
like pudgy penguins, like probably Sproto gremlins, that like these will probably like last, like hold their value at some point for like in the future. So it's yeah, it's a tough one with the meme coins right now because it's sort of like which what I just like I'm just
yeah.
it's really difficult. That's all I can really say.
No, no, no. It's a good point that you made as well. I'm wondering if because 1L made the good point when I had him on when he talked about the idea that um, the reason why Whiff and the likes of Popcat did really well was because there was like so few choices around at that time to buy as a meme coin on Solana. If you kind of like think about it from that perspective, and that's why things like Whiff and Bonk did really well because they were the only ones people could really buy before the likes of Pump.Fun came in and decided to kind of you know increase the Solana M2 supply of meme coins to the point where it was like too many coins to support, I guess, the demand at that time. Um,
Yeah.
mm,
That's like that was the thing. It's like that was sort of what got me off Soul, like the Soul trenches for a while, the last like um probably since like yeah, like probably the last like month or and a bit because like I mid curve like AI narrative. I don't really like I can't really understand how to value them, so I just like didn't really participate that much. Like I bought Fartcoin like sold that a bit early, but like
Yeah.
aside from like all the I don't really know how to value them, so I was like, okay, I'm just not gonna play that meta. And like as you said, like back in the when Pump Fund first launched, it was like there was like not many. Obviously, like you could just launch a coin on Pump Fund, but there was just so many like chances that you could just make a coin and it run to like 20-30 mil. Now it's like fuck to get a meme coin to 20-30 mil. It needs to be like the most relevant, like like imaginative, like crazy best thing of all time. Like back
Yeah.
then, you could fucking make any coin like fucking, and it would send because it was like so inefficient the whole trenches ecosystem. But then as soon as like people started realizing, fuck, you can make so much money from this, KOLs, insiders came in, and it just got like really efficient, to a point where it's like I think right now it's like really unless you buy like obviously the coins like ones that have already like had 70% retraces, they've got like an organic community, whatever. And like I don't even know if like some of them will come back, but like ones that do, aside from them, like the only real way I feel like that you can consistently make money in the soul trenches right now is if you're an insider. Or
Insider.
so
Yeah.
it's like, yeah, like KOL or an insider. So it's like
Mm.
it's if you're not like either of those, I don't think you really have an edge on the soul in the soul trenches.
Yeah.
Unless you like are really delusional, obviously, and just bag hold your like memes 80% down and they go back up, which is like obviously a possibility. With like I mean I've held PopCat, it's down 70% probably from its all-time high. So that like I'm hoping that goes back up. But
Yeah.
like in terms of just like new launches and stuff like that, I just can't like I can't see an edge that you have unless you're an insider. So
Yeah.
that's mainly my theory about why I like stopped daily trench hunting and moved a bunch of money to hyperliquid. But yeah.
Nice. Nice. Well, apart from uh, NFTs to meme coins from the previous cycle, what else from the previous cycle have you found different this time around? Whether it be investing or like assets or people. Yeah.
Um, I think like the vast majority of participants, and this isn't just in crypto,
Mm.
but and I'm not sure if this is like related to like rate hikes or like what the rate is right now, or if it's just like people's brains. But like I've noticed that like people just don't buy with size at least, just don't buy dog shit anymore. Like they just refuse to buy like whether that be on like traditional finance, like zombie companies, they'll just
Yeah.
buy like the best companies, like that make the most money. Like they'll just keep like very um concentrated bets on like you know and the top companies in the world are getting even more concentrated right now, but
Mm.
like concentrated bets on like Meta or like you know Nvidia, because they're like the leader of AI. They won't buy like the betas like AMD or anything like that. Like no one wants to buy those stocks. And it's the same in crypto. It's um like you're either like a poor like left curve, like in the soul trenches, and you're just trying to get that 100x,
Yeah.
and you're holding meme coins, which like a lot of people made millions off meme coins.
Yeah.
Or you're buying like B2C, but like everything else isn't like investable for over like a month or two. And I mean,
Yeah.
even memes are the same. Like some memes have obviously lasted, but like a lot of them died. But it's like a flight to like the quality assets this cycle in comparison to last cycle. I'm not sure if it's like rate related or if it's just like people's brains have realized that everything's gonna go to zero except for like BTC and a bunch of like handful of like the top alts or whatever. But it's like it's real that really threw me off guard because I was like so convinced to buy like betas to like certain things.
Yeah.
Like for instance, I was convinced that like shit like fetch AI or whatever was like a better play
Mm.
than like a better play to go than like Nvidia or something at the time. Like because I was like, well, if this can like if Nvidia goes up, like this should like 2x 3x or whatever.
Yeah.
but like it just wasn't the play. I mean, it was like if you were really like super early, but like it was it like it that really threw me off guard, and I had to really adjust my way of like thinking. And even in the trenches, like this is like a really niche like view of things, but it's like there was like I remember there was instances where like coins like Popcat would go up like 20%, and like Popcat would have like a bunch of beta like cat coins, and like they just wouldn't go up as much as Popcat would. And I'm just like, well, what's the point of holding any of the betas if they're not gonna like outperform the win? And it's the same like theory with B2C. And it's like you could have just like full ported B2C at like 25K or 20K
Yeah.
with like size, with like actual, and know like, all right, it's not gonna like go to zero at least. Like if I just wait around, I probably will be profitable one day.
If you
But
just
like
wait
most
around.
people just, yeah, most people like just did the opposite, including myself, where like you're trying to overtrade like because you think you need an outsized return, like where like boomers are just happy to buy B2C, and like all the money's just flowing into B2C. And it's like same thing in TradFi, like all the money's just flowing into big tech. No one wants to buy these like fucking speculative zombie companies. Like yeah, they might pop like 300 400% once, and then they just bleed to like zero, which is like been the story of this cycle for altcoins. They like there's all these different narratives. Like we had, start of 2024, we had like actual perps AI coins that went off, like
Mm.
Fetch and like Rendar, and all those did quite well. And then memes were like the main narrative for like 5 6 months or something. And then um now we're in like AI memes or AI infra, like but like fair launched AI coins on like dexes, on like Sol and stuff like that. And it's like all these coins, like they're probably just all gonna like bleed to zero against like BTC eventually. Like yeah, they outperform BTC in the short term, but they're all just like eventually just gonna look stupid. BTC might be 150K. All right, these are like at the moment, like say like AI 16Z is like $2 or something, and BTC is 100K. But then BTC is 150K. AI 16Z might be like 30 cents. Like you know what I mean? It's like that's just been like the story of this cycle. Um, from what I've like noticed, and that was being really difficult to adjust to because it's so like easy last cycle just to bid like, all right, like Sol went up, so instead of Sol went up, all right, okay, now I buy AVAX, or I buy like Nia, and they'll go up even more,
Mm.
or you buy like Polygon, like you buy like whatever the next layer of one. I remember like the all these L1s are popping off, and as I said, the one that I mentioned, like Cadena, I was like this L1 proof of work blockchain. That like beta, that was perfect beta.
Yeah.
I mean, there's obviously still like betas that run in because it's like crypto, it's like a full speculative industry. But from what I've noticed, like it was much easier to bid on betas last cycle than it is this cycle. It's been very difficult to hold altcoins for longer than like, yeah, like a couple months, like 2 3 months. It's been a challenge when you should have probably just rotated all your profits into sats at some point if you were making money in like altcoins. But and that was sort of like pretty obvious in hindsight now that I think about it,
Yeah.
because like boomers like BTC, they don't really like they're putting their money into BTC, so it's like there's only so much money in crypto. I mean, they obviously, Tether and stuff like print can get more inflows and printing more money, but like there's only so much native crypto capital, and then there's all this TradFi capital that like wants to bid like a fucking orange coin, and it's like, well, do I just fade them? It's like, it's much easier to. I feel like I would have slept a lot better this cycle if I just full ported BTC, which a lot of people probably have the same thoughts. But that's been like one of the main things. I think I'm just trying to think of like what's been like a lot different this cycle. Aside from that, like that was probably the main thing I'm thinking of. But I think also like the theory of like no one actually knows anything. Like you look
Yeah.
up to these people like from last no look up, but you speak about these people from last cycle, that were like the kingmakers in last cycle, and it's just like, well, they were just really early, right place. Obviously they're super smart because they like found all this shit early, but it's like there's no like you have no reason to believe now that these guys can ever replicate what they did again. And like we've noticed that with like a lot of like accounts on CP that like have
Mm,
like I mean I've made some terrible calls as well, but like in terms of just like people who have like fantasize over like yeah like this dude like said this or this dude said that, it's like well no one actually really knows what's gonna happen. Like
yeah.
it's so like yeah like it's so like who would have fucking thought like as a meme like you know Trump would be like doing executive orders for crypto like at this point in this like it's like no one had I didn't see a single person say that in 2022. Maybe like fucking GCR said bet on Trump, but like as everyone else was like no one had any sort of everyone was more talking about how like the industry was going to get regulated out of existence than like
Mm,
than any sort of like the opposites happen now. So it's like and I mean I didn't really have any views on this, so I can't really speak, but it's like no one actually really knows what's going to happen. And that's like one thing that I've come to terms with and that I'll take into like future trades where it's like yeah, it's very like it's the most speculative industry on the planet and for good reason because no one actually knows what's going to happen next. But um yeah, those are the two main things. And
so not bid
um
betas and
yeah, so
learning
like
that no
not
one knows anything, essentially.
yeah, so like yeah, so the baited one was probably like so surprising to me. I was just like so shocked when I was yeah, but yeah, that was sort of the main thing. And I'd say like it, it's gonna I think like underestimating like how like important like having a good like group of people like
Mm,
to speak to like actually like just like normal dudes to speak to like how we're speaking right now or just like
yeah,
you know just a group of whereas like because you're just like in when I first come into crypto you just get all these like it's just so like unrealistic like the things that people say or message you and it's just like it's just like so stupid and it's like to have just like normal combos or like with people that are in the space that are just like normal dudes like you and me and you know hundreds of other people that are just
yeah,
normal. It's so like underrated, which I didn't have last cycle because all the people I would speak to last cycle were just like so delusional either way. Like they'd say like XRP is going to like $150 or like it was either the opposite where it's like the space is going to get regulated out of existence, it's going to fucking zero. But like just having like just normal chats with like dudes in the space that are like actually like somewhat like just like normal is like really underrated because like this space is just fucking crazy sometimes and that's like always handy to have and that keeps you sane because like trading these coins on a like a daily basis especially like in the trenches it's like fuck takes a lot out of you so yeah probably those three things.
yeah. No, I think that's a really good point that you made. The no one knows anything kind of rings true for me, and I don't know about you, but I kind of found that in the bear market that it was more apparent because the sort of slosh of like like free money and like endless amounts of people kind of dried up. Um, and so you kind of were able to interact with larger accounts, follow their sort of things a little bit more closely, and then you can kind of see the cracks in a good
Yeah,
way. You kind of realize that they were human, and so coming into this cycle, I was definitely of that opinion to kind of it was okay to kind of like have contrarian thoughts, like when you guys were all in PopCat making lots of money and in Pudgy's making lots of money, I was trying to come up with my own ideas, and that didn't work out for me. But I was like much more okay and like a lot better at managing that sort of thing because I was like, well, you know, no one really knows where everything's going, so you might as well build conviction in your own beliefs, I guess.
yeah,
Yeah.
100%. And like I feel like it's really difficult to like not have your own conviction
Mm,
because like if you like I would just advise everyone to be like, well, no one actually knows anything. Like, you shouldn't actually just follow blindly other people, because the problem with following like blindly other people is like when the coin goes down, like you don't have any conviction in it. So like
Yeah.
you'll just panic sell it. And like it might go back up and then you're like, fuck, why did I sell it? And so um like you'll 100% panic sell it. So it's like as much as, oh, like it's cool that we're all in the same coin, it's like, well, it's not cool if you don't actually believe in it, because
Yeah.
um you know like he could, like someone could be telling me, yeah, I'm in it, bro, I'm in it, and he could just be like dumping on my ass like that. Like how the fuck are you supposed to know? Like, this is the thing. It's like you just need to like, it's like, yeah, if you don't have your own conviction, it's like really difficult in this space to actually succeed, because unless you're an insider. So um yeah, that would be like probably one of the more underrated yeah, things about crypto, is just like actually having, I mean, it's like a cliche, but having conviction in your own bags.
Yeah. Do you still struggle with the don't bid betas because of your, well, I'm saying your, but I'll say it collectively because I've got it too, but like the like second cycle PTSD, like you see a vertical chart, it's clearly a new thing, and you're like, I can't really like bring myself to buying like these 50% new all-time high candle breakouts. Like, can I find something else that's like the same, but
Yeah,
like flat?
well,
Yeah,
that was like how I came to the conclusion that like you shouldn't just buy betas, like, because I was doing that, like
yeah,
I was looking at like I'd look at like, whiff or whatever, and I'd be like when it was pumping at the start of the year, and I was just trying to find like the beta to it. And I bought a bunch of coins, but like in the end, I should have just fucking bought whiff. Like, I would have made so much more money if I just bought whiff and
yeah.
like not chased all these other coins. And the same with like cat coins. Same with like all these like AI coins as well. Like, yeah, there's plenty of them that are fucking going up, but
Mm,
um like the ones that are like, the most successful ones, like I was looking at like I was looking at like, AI 16Z, and I'm like trying to like when it first started pumping, I'm trying to find like a different infra play, and I'm
mm,
like, oh, like you should have just bought the main one. It's like everyone
yeah,
uses the framework of AI 16Z. Like what, like why wouldn't I just like buy that? But it's like, oh, because I wanted a 10x instead of a 3 4x, but I didn't get the 10x anyway. But then the other coin ended up 3 4x. So it's like this game of, and that's why like now I'm just happy buying the. I don't even bother with the betas now. Like I'll literally just like like I'll just buy any like I'll give you a prime example with Hyperliquid. I haven't even fucking played any of their trench coins really. Like
yeah,
I just buy hype. Like I've just got hype. Like I can't even. I just like I like. There's obviously coins that might run on that, but like I don't know which ones. There's hundreds of them probably.
yeah,
And like which one is gonna do like a which like I need like a good amount of, like I need like a 10x to justify me gambling on them, because like most of them go to zero. So it's like, but I don't know which one's gonna fucking 10x. And like obviously I could speculate which one will, but for me it's just easier to just hold hype and wait. Like, so I'm just doing that. And I feel like that would have been a better strategy for me, because I probably would have lost all my money now if I fucking gambled on the trench coins on hype. But yeah, sometimes it's just like so much easier just to it. But I do get your point. Like it's fucking hard to like for instance to bid like I saw Fartcoin, like me selling it at like just before 200 mil and seeing it at
mm,
like 400 when Taiki was bull posting it, and like even I knew it was gonna go higher probably, because I started seeing like all those TradFi dudes posting about the tent, like the mind share was getting like so insane to a point where I'm like, if this doesn't go to a billion, like that's insane. So but I just couldn't bring myself to buy it, because I'm like, what if it pulls back?
yeah.
It's
It's
gone up so much. What if it pulls back? Like, and I was looking at other coins, to capture that upside, and it just wasn't. It was just I should have just bought Farcoin. Like,
mm,
yeah, but I mean, it's something that I struggle with. sometimes. But yeah, sometimes I'm good at just quickly aping something and like it goes up. But yeah, sometimes it's hard when it's gone up so much and you're like you feel like you're gonna get dumped on, but it's just like it's sort of an extension that keeps going higher. But yeah.
Yeah, I always like I think for me, like I get this wrong all the time. So like hype was like an example where it came out at like $4 and I was like, well, it's an airdrop, it's bound to go down.
Yeah.
Goes to
Yeah.
$8 and I'm like, well, I was like, okay, well, now what do you do? And then I spent like a long time going, is it more so a case of the fact that people don't like you kind of have to frame it from the perspective of they're not looking at like microstructure, they've got no indicators, they just see something new and innovative and I want a piece of that action. And I think
Yeah.
like too late for me now, because I'm off looking at betas, of course, and this isn't the right way to do things, but looking at the AI and how quickly that went from kind of very low 100 millions or billions to like 10 billion in the span of like a couple of months. And if you just kind of, like you said, with AI 16Z or even virtuals, just bought in the sense that you just wanted exposure to that area, you probably would have done a lot better than trying to really get down into the weeds of like new things that were like popping off, unless you applied different like risk frameworks. I've started to think about this a little bit more. I feel like the mid curve has to be right twice, in the sense that they have to like find a beta that runs and then sell it at the right time, knowing that it won't be like the best decision. Whereas like the left and the right curve are just like, I want exposure, I buy biggest like one that's there, and kind of like capture the upside.
Yeah.
Um,
100%.
yeah.
It's
Yeah, you go.
it's just like really like I struggle sometimes to understand like the R&Rs with some plays like and that's like me sometimes mid curving it, but
Mm,
like I just couldn't comprehend buying Farcoin at like four because like I had this is where like I mid curve things where it's like I always thought of Fartcoin as like a goat beta. Like I couldn't get that out of my head. I was like, if
mm,
goat goes up, like Fartcoin will go up more or whatever. Because it's like it's funny, it's a meme. And then like Fartcoin ascended higher than whatever goat is. But it was just like had all these like over I was like sometimes I just overthink things and like that's what kills me, but I guess like not thinking sometimes is really stupid as well. uh
yeah.
yeah, like it's a dull it's yeah, you got to take it as it comes, I guess. But you know what I've gotten really good at lately at accepting that I'm not gonna capture everything. Like even if I
Mm,
bought it in the past, like there's just no way of knowing like which coins and like you obviously that's just part of the game. Like I've bought so many. Like I bought like Flog. I bought Farcoin. I bought like all these runners that have happened in the past month. And obviously I didn't bag hold them to the valuations that they went to. But um, like I don't even care. Like it's just like is what it is. I know people that like look back every day and they're like, oh, I should have $1 million, and it's like I just know I wouldn't have had that money because I wouldn't have bag held it that long. So it's like there's no point me getting like pissed off about it. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Like I just know I was never gonna hold it that long. So it's like I'm not gonna just pretend like oh I should have it like $1 million, 2 million, 3, 4, 5 million. Because it's just like, but some people think like that. They actually think like, oh, I paper handed this and I missed it 100x. It's like you would have probably sold it after like a 10x if you held it a tiny bit longer anyway. So it's like it's a really bad way of thinking, I think, because it just like fucks your brain to thinking, oh, I need to I need to like redeem myself and get a 2000x or whatever. And it's just like you probably weren't ever gonna like hold it that long. Like the people that hold it that long are like genuinely like retarded,
Mm,
which is like good and bad, I guess. But like they actually like look at fucking what's his name um Is it Bob Lax who has Filecoin?
Yes, yeah, Bob
Yeah,
Blacks and
like
Taki,
I can't
yeah.
fucking see him selling it unless it goes to like $10. Like there's no way he's gonna fucking sell. Like if he's made it this far, I don't think he's like I can't see him selling it like if it goes to like $3, $4. Like he'll probably fucking hold it still and he'll just be like higher or bounce. Like he'll just like and it's like it's the same with like Popcat whales. Like there's this dude that Poptato dude, like he's held it since like fuck, I can't believe like early like couple mil, he put like 50K in or whatever. Got to
Jeez.
like I think it got to like 30 mil. Like these people like people need to realize that like these people won't sell because they didn't sell for like like a 500x. So like why would they sell now if that makes
Yeah,
sense? You know what I mean? Like the reason they've made it this long is because they didn't they like thought 5 billion is not enough and then they got to 10. And it's like at what point is like enough? So it's like the people that actually get to these valuations are like not they're retarded. So they're just like not logical. So but that's how you get to those valuations, I guess. So
yeah,
but like when people say that, like, oh, I paper handed this, I'm like, you're sorry, but like you're actually just too normal. Like you're not you think too logically. I'm sorry, like most people, because most coins you think logically, you're like, well, most coins are going to zero after they launch. They might go up a bit and then they go to zero. But yeah, so like, like odds say you should just sell if you're in profit. Like but yeah, you get like a couple runners, and then everyone's like, I paper handed this, and then it's just like, well, yeah, that's where it's like, yeah, I don't know,
yeah.
difficult
No,
one.
I see where you're coming from, man. I see where you're coming from, and I think that I can just kind of I can't relate because I see a chart and I'm just like, oh no, this might actually be it. This is where it's over. But that's where like you said the guy that's holding PopCat from like the low millions
Yeah,
just has this like dogged belief that this will just
yeah.
just go, and I think it's those people that hopefully at some point they can kind of reward all the emotional baggage that they would have picked up along the way by holding it and cashing out at
But
some
like, I
point.
just don't, I can't see them doing it because in their brain they have like a specific target in mind, like whether that be like a ridiculous price or like a ridiculous moment where like, oh, like all everyone capitulates into their coin, or like
Mm,
it gets to like a certain like it gets to like 69 billion market cap or something, and it's like if it doesn't hit what these targets are, like they just won't sell. It's just like so simple because they're so like ingrained in their beliefs. Because think about like if you put like 50K into a coin or something and it goes up like 3 4x, like most logical people will just be like in a short pace of time will just be like, yeah, I'll just sell it, like
yeah.
that's really good money. But like these people don't, and so once it gets like a million, they're like, okay, they still don't sell, and then it gets like 5 million, and they still don't sell, and then it gets to 10 million, and they still don't sell, and it's like, will they actually sell? Probably not. Like probably not, unless it gets to their like ridiculous target. So that's the reason they have so much money. Because the coin that they're in has like gone up so much, and they just actually refuse to sell, and they likely won't sell.
Mm,
Um, and yeah, I mean, it's similar, like similar stuff to like the board. Like it's just the NFT thing all over again. Very similar. Like
yeah.
the dudes who bought Bored Apes, like what were they worth? Like a price of a house or something, and like they didn't sell. Like none of them sold. Like most of them are still holding it today. Like it's just like yeah, it's just the nature of the game. Eventually you need to sell unless it's BTC probably.
Yeah.
Um, Um, yeah, but I guess that's how you get to millions, like in unrealized gains. But yeah, it's a difficult one, I guess. I don't know.
But at what cost,
Yeah, well, this is me. Like, I can't. The problem with me is, aside from like PopCat, there's nothing I can like bag hold. If I make like a couple 100K on a coin, like I just sell it,
Mm,
like, which is like very rare, obviously, because that's like a lot of money. But like, it's happened like a few times this cycle. But like, I just sell it because like I'm just like I just don't think I'll get. I'm never early enough to size up into a coin, and then I'm not like retarded enough to ride it up to like 5-10 million unrealized. So like
Yeah.
first of all, I'm not going to be early enough, and then second enough, I'm not going to size into it properly
Yeah.
at that early because if it's I'm not going to put much size into it. And then thirdly, like going through all that volatility, getting into the millions and not selling, like it's like unrealistic. I would obviously sell before that. So
Mm.
that's like me, which why I've like sold most of the things. And it's more of like a lifestyle. I'm very like lifestyle or life maxing. Like so I like to just like sleep and like I don't like staying up
You
and
like to
only getting
sleep.
I don't like getting like 3 hours sleep, if that makes sense. Like
Yeah.
I just fucking hate it. Like it pissed me off. Like I've like ruins like stuff like that where I'm just like staring at a computer all day and then I have to, get 3 hours sleep and then like then my coins go down and then I'm like fuck and at some point like I've got Popcat where I'm bag holding that like that's enough for me. Like I'll bag hold. I won't bag hold anything else. Like I'm happy to trade everything else. So or like extract and sell if I'm in profit. Like it's just a bit. I'm holding like Popcat. I'm holding like Hype. Yeah, like I'm just happy with those concentrated bets, and then everything else is just like I'm selling into like USDC, ETH,
Mm.
Sol, BTC. Like that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's yeah.
Um, are there any trades or investments that you're super proud for that you've taken? You don't have to talk about like profits or anything like that, but is there anything that you've taken that you've thought, oh, I've done all right here? Like I've definitely put
I
some
think the
things into
best trade
practice.
ever of my life is probably just buying a Pudgy Penguin. Like like not even joking. Like the amount of like for what I like you pay for it and like for all the things that like it's given like for free.
Mm,
Like in it like not to mention it like actually going up in value as well. But
mm,
like it for someone that like obviously in the bear market like not having as much money like just like chucking I don't know how much I paid for it, like 6 grand or something. I don't know. I think it was something like that. But like to then get like 30k of 40k of dime from there and then getting like a bunch of other smaller airdrops that throughout the year that were worth like 2 3k like layer zero all those shit like that accumulated to another like 15k and it's like some like I was like I could have been a little conservative and just held the ETH in like my wallet, which I was like planning to do and just leaving it on Lido and just staking it, getting the yield or whatever. But then I was like, no, like I'm gonna take like 3 or 4 ETH out of Lido and just buy this penguin. Um, because you know, I thought it was like a good risk to take. And that's where it comes down to. It's like I've just learned to like be like, well, if I'm not being in BTC, like you got to take a risk at some point. Like,
yeah.
and that was like I was pretty proud of that because I didn't really know anyone aside from like obviously there's heaps of penguins on the TL, but like no one IRL like anyone in my group chats that I was speaking to like had a penguin really until like I bought it, and then obviously everyone's like, yo, he's part of the huddle or whatever, but like. And then Z bought one, which was like really nice. So it was like that was like probably yeah, and then obviously again the Pengu airdrop, which was like fuck, that was like 90k USD or whatever, which is kind of crazy. But um that was probably just like my best trade ever in terms of like obviously I've had better trades that have gotten me
Yeah.
like more money, but in terms of like just value and like I actually like came up with a thesis where I was like, I think Pudgy Penguins are going to be like their community seems really based. They're so chill. Like, Luca is pumping out like toys.
Mm,
He bought like I think what really drew me to the Penguins were so like most NFT projects are really extractive. Like the founders or like the dudes who made the NFTs basically like made them out of thin air, yeah? Like they
Yeah.
just made the photos and then they basically do mints where they extract value out of like their like for instance like Azuki Elementals, like it was like 2 ETH mint or something. They made like 40 million, $20 million. I don't know what it was. Um but like when I heard that Luca had spent like $2 million to acquire Project Penguin, I'm like, dude is like spent money, like his own like $2 million, his own money to like actually acquire them. Like there is like no reason for him to like just like not try and make this like work really well. Because like if you're spending $2 million or something, you want to actually really try to make it work. So I was like, and I noticed like every other community of like NFTs was just so like I hated them. Like the gods were really cringe, apes were cringe. Like
Mm.
that, like not just like the photos, like the actual community, the people were cringe. Like they were just like really annoying and toxic and like every like aside from like CryptoPunks, which I couldn't like obviously afford, like at the time, like Pudgies were like the only like real cool like wholesome like group of people, and they were just like real chill guys, and they were just like, yeah, man, we're just vibing, we're just posting gifs, like we're just like chilling, like we're just getting toys, like, and yeah, that was just probably one of the trades I was most proud of because I never thought I'd buy like an NFT in a like when the market was like that. I was like, yeah, no chance, but could have bought more obviously, but yeah, no, it was just like a really like cool trade and like as I said, I've had like R&R better trades, but like none where I've like ridden quite like the Penguins have.
Yeah. I always thought that it was like maybe the fact that you just bought the Penguin knowing it was just an NFT, and then you've had this long history of just being rewarded for that decision. It's
Yeah,
like,
no, that's what
yeah,
was crazy. Like it was like you get like it was like I when I heard about Dime, I was like, I already had like a bunch of staked here, so like it just like was like so crazy to me that like wow, the Penguin's going up in value, and I'm getting like this airdrop as well with it. And then for all those gains to sort of like go back down throughout like the midway through the year on the Penguin, and then for like it to go back up, plus getting like base like a 90K USD airdrop or something was like
mm,
it was like wow, like yeah, really being rewarded here for like actually sticking through like um to like not the end, but like to this point of um the cycle, and it was yeah, I was just like yeah, it was crazy, but yeah, Penguins definitely. Um, like yeah, most of my other trades were just like the ones where I made the most money were probably just more luck based than
mm,
anything. Aside from Penguins, which I'll say like I actually had a thesis to, but like all
yeah,
the other ones, like yeah, like where I made like a ridiculous amount of money, like six figures really quickly, were just like pretty luck based ones. I thought Tia, although like I round trip some gains on that, was like quite a good trade because of like the value I got from like the airdrop itself. And that like sort of just like propelled a lot of things into action. Because like I was buying that Tia, um, and then I just like staked it across like a bunch of wallets.
yeah,
As like me not thinking like, oh, this is probably just like I was just like one of the airdrop farmer dudes was telling me he's like, bro, you have a lot of TR, like stake it over
yeah,
like 10 wallets or something, and me just being like, and this is like where it comes into like no like having like good like people on CT around you for this speculative shit, and it's like they're not actually giving you advice like on what to buy, they're just sort of giving you like they're sort of trying to like tell you stuff, and I obviously they could tell you the wrong thing, but um me just being like, well, I know there's going to be like an airdrop in the future, and um yeah, like that was really good, like because yeah, staking it over 10 wallets was like ridiculous because you got like so many tokens, and um Yeah, and I remember like reading in 2022 like one of the GCR tweets where he was like, if you like don't have much money, like farming airdrops could like literally change your life. And
Yeah.
um it's like so true. And even like when we thought airdrops were dead, and hype just comes out, and I didn't obviously get hype, but hype just comes out and just like gives everyone a six-figure airdrop like instantly. And
Mm.
it's like y- y- if you're like really in tune with this market, and there are like so many opportunities even if you don't have much money, which is like why I try to like, I don't advocate, like I don't tell people in real life to get into crypto, but if I was to tell people, which I don't, I would literally just, if you don't have much money, like fuck me, man, just farm airdrops. Like
Yeah.
even if it's a shit airdrop, like just keep going for the next one, the next one. Like one of them will probably fucking give you like high five figures, low six figures one day if you farm it right. And like it's like for yeah, for the amount of money you invest, it's like damn, like you could literally like change your life if you like don't have much money. So
Mm.
airdrops are like so good. I feel like airdrops are gonna still be like kind of popular because like the crypto industry just keeps evolving. Like for instance, I think Phantom um was valued and got like a
$3 billion valuation. Yeah.
yeah, like shit like that. Like Jupiter's doing an airdrop. Like there's heaps of other ecosystems that are doing shit. Like Hype are gonna do another one. Um, like it's just like there's so many endless opportunities for like basically not for just doing what you're gonna do anyway in crypto. Um, so it's yeah, airdrops for me, this cycle have been like so good. I didn't get hype, but I got all the other good ones. Like I got Dime was probably like the best one aside from hype, I'd say. If you, I mean, if you, it just depends. Like if you sold it, yeah, like it was amazing. But yeah, TR obviously was a good airdrop. Didn't get that, but at the time, even yeah, like there was just yeah, there was like so many like just random airdrops that have been good. Um, but yeah, hype. I know a dude who Aussie dude as well. He got like 110K hype tokens, and like that's like I mean, he sold a lot of it early, but like man, like that's like literally like that's like a house right there. Like so, yeah, airdrops are crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know if you've ever tried to explain it to normies, and I only tried it once and then just kind of gave up. But
Like
yeah.
yeah, that's what I mean. Like I just wouldn't like firstly, I just wouldn't like want to, but like if I, as I said, if I could give advice to like normies, which is what I'm doing through like an anonymous platform here,
Mm.
it would be to like the least risky thing you could do is farm airdrops in
Yeah.
crypto with like good potential upside. Like if you actually don't have money, like if you're not willing to like you need money to like live, like you can't put much money into this market, just fucking like go on protocols, just like get deep into group chats, like fuck, like just do anything you can that's free on these chains. Like you'll have to deposit some money at some point, but like most of them you don't really need to deposit that much. And like there's just heaps of shit you can do. And like I think there'll be a few good ones on like hype stakers just got like for instance like hype for liquid stakers just got like a Zuki coin allocation, and like obviously that's not going to be like amazing, like that won't be as good as Pengu, but like if their NFTs are valued at half of Pudgy Penguins at the
Mm.
moment, like their airdrop might still be decent. So like their token still might be valued at like an okay valuation. So like just shit like that, like you can get like really good like free money. So yeah,
Yeah. No, I agree with that. Um,
good.
Another question I had, you talked about Pudgies being your best trade because it was more aligned to the conviction that you had. And then you said the rest were luck, but for our viewers that are
Yo,
listening
Swiss, can you hear me?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Hello.
Yo, can you hear me?
Yeah, yo.
All right, we're back. Yeah, good. Man, this internet is terrible. But yeah, just where we left off. You said that luck came into some of your other trades. Do you think that was because you were kind of being real and humbling yourself when those trades were going your own way? Because you were like, I'm not a genius. I've just gotten lucky here. I'm happy to start selling at these prices to like
Yeah.
lock in profits.
Yeah, so like a lot of the trades were like not much money and then like managed to like extract a lot of money was just like me actually understanding that I was lucky and that I didn't have like a particular skill because they were all like just like pump on meme coins. So um like there's an element of like yeah being early, but like 90% of it's like luck because you don't know which coin's gonna rip. So that's like a that was good enough justification for me to just like start selling it, clipping out. Um, because like I knew like I'm not a genius and I'm like most of these coins go to zero at some point. So it was
Yeah.
yeah, that was like the main thesis behind it. But yeah, like aside from that, I think that's like a good way of thinking as well. Like
Mm,
if you like randomly just like hit a crazy number on like Pump Fun or something like everyone's on there to like make money and it's like there's millions of coins at launch and like yours have managed to go up a lot. You should be like, okay, like I should probably, take take a substantial amount off the table if you've, been gifted this like life change if it's like life changing money.
yeah.
Because these coins like the next day they're probably going to be worth like 70% less. So but yeah, so those aside from yeah like Popcat and like Pudgies, I'll like claim as like if Popcat goes back up like really heavily, like I'll claim that as like I had like somewhat of a not a thesis but like a belief in it. But like all the other ones, yeah, pretty lucky I'd say.
Mm,
But like what, like like as I said, it's like 80-90% luck. You still got to be just like you know talking to the right people or like you know being online terminally. So like that's like probably where I mean a lot of people are just terminally online, but that's sort of where the work comes in. But yeah, I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. It's a lot of shitcoining is just luck.
yeah. Which doesn't help me get any richer because I got to get more lucky. So thanks for that.
Mm.
Um, what do you think of the market now, and where do you see it heading? Like, what are you bullish on, and what are you bearish on?
Um, I think I think like it's weird because um like it's just so hard to be like bearish on something like BTC because like if you like think about it, like it sounds stupid in like I mean I don't know, it might sound stupid in hindsight, but it's just like everyone's like sort of just overthinking this like Trump administration. Like they might actually just pump it to like ridiculous like Bitcoin to a ridiculous number.
Yeah.
Like he could just like it could actually just go so high. Like it was the same when like people de-risked all their positions into a Trump election.
Mm,
Um like people just couldn't like people thought that you know the left would like manipulate the votes or whatever because of the immigrants or whatever. Like
yeah.
they like had these like theories. It's just like or they just didn't think like logical Americans are just going to vote Trump or something. Like they just couldn't think that. So then now I'm like coming to this conclusion where like people are saying like nah, like they can't like they actually can't like do these things with crypto, like make legislations and stuff. Like he can, he's the president. Like he literally can. Like but I don't know if that what that I don't know if that's like bearish. I mean bullish anything aside from like I like this is the problem. There will be stuff that it's bullish for. I just don't know what it is, but I know it'll be like 100% bullish BTC. So it's
Yeah.
like 100% bullish BTC. In terms of like what I'm bullish on, like I'm bullish on hype. I think they have a chance to actually like build something like like actually really like intrinsically good.
Mm.
For like crypto. I mean, I know it's just like another, way of speculating. Like most of but like to be fair, like all the good products that have come out of this cycle have just been things that like make you speculate better or like add to the user experience, like Pump Fun,
Mm.
Polymarket. Like they're all like just ways of like speculating in a different form or better way, like with a good product. I think Hyperliquid is pretty similar to that. I think they got to do is like figure out ways to like make bridging easier, even though it's like so fucking easy, but like more easy for like normies that like can figure out how to download Phantom and put Sol on that. Like that's like probably the next step for them. To figure out like how to get more people to bridge over. Even though it's like so easy, but um I think the team's doing a good job. I like how the team is already like super rich, because like they make so much money already every
Yeah.
day, off like fees and everything, and but they don't like they have no really incentive not to like try and push this platform to like be way better. So yeah, bullish hype. I think it could get to like a top 10 coin this cycle. I like at the peak. I don't know if it'll like I don't think it'll ever get to like top 5, but I think at some point it might like get into the top 10 and then like maybe yeah, that'll be like closer to a top. Um what else am I bullish on? I think like some meme coins like can actually run
Mm.
in the next few weeks because I think AI is starting to have the same problem that memes had
Yeah.
where they're getting super diluted. Like now everything that launches is just AI.
Yeah.
Um So everyone's in AI now. Not many people in memes, and not I'm saying not all memes are gonna pump. Like it'll just be like probably the ones that are like already still like hadn't died yet. But
Yeah.
um, I think memes could like run for a couple weeks maybe. And I think that's like part of like that's probably gonna be um hammered down by like the speculation of like Doge. Like Doge is catching a big bid now.
Mm.
I think Doge will get a big bid. I don't have any Doge at the moment, but
Yeah.
um, going into this, yeah, presidential inauguration, but um, I find I struggle to be like super bearish. Like we might, do this thing again where we, go to like 110K or 108K or 105K and just like cap, people take profits there, and just continue to range for a little longer. But um, it's hard to be bearish at this point of the year. It's just like crypto seasonality. Like January, February is in a bull market, usually like amazing times to be like long.
Yeah.
It's just like so. Like it's like when October, November, December in a bull market is always just like the best months to be long.
Yeah.
It's like so is January, February, like March. Like those are like really good. Like it's like they're really good months for crypto. And like obviously, May and June, July are terrible months in most cases, but I don't know. I just not gonna be bearish. I mean, I don't know what's gonna happen, but I feel like everyone is so underallocated, including myself, to BTC.
Mm.
They're like I feel like it's just gonna pump so hard BTC and leave like so many coins in the dust. Um, and I feel like its dominance is just going to increase as the dilution of altcoins continues.
Mm.
Or like not just like now, but like in many years to come.
Yeah.
And I've like strongly considered becoming like a BTC maxi at some point, but I'm too addicted to gambling on shitcoins, so.
Yeah.
But yeah, I hope that one day I just like, I mean, I probably should just do it now to be fair, but yeah, one day just like become a when I like mentally can't be bothered trading like daily. just become a BTC maxi and just like never sell. Yeah, I don't know, hard, but
Yeah.
yeah,
So basically, you're bullish on hype,
hype BTC,
BTC.
and like I feel like memes can run for a couple weeks. I'm not sure if they'll like a lot of them will go back to their all-time highs, but I think they can like really pump hard because a lot of them are sold off, and I think AI is like really diluted at this point, um, to a point where like a lot of AI coins went to 1 billion, um, and or like even 2 billion, and aside from like Fartcoin, which has like so much mind share, a lot of them are just doing the same thing. Like
Mm,
they don't have any utility. They're just all the same like infra. Like there's all those ones like Cerebro, Arc.
yeah.
I mean, there's some that have actual mind share on CT, so like they might be valued a bit higher. Like AIXBT is obviously like I think it went up a lot yesterday or something. But
Yeah.
um, and like some of them are actually quite funny. Um, But yeah, no, I feel like it's got the same problem as memes now, where like it was so easy to buy AI coins when, it was just AI 16Z, Bartcoin, and like Goat.
Yeah.
And you could have just like literally bought like all three of those. I mean, Goat's down a lot, but like from its peak, but like Fartcoin, AI 16Z are doing well. And but now there's like fuck, there's like 20 new coins that run to like 50 mil each day on AI. So it's like how many more can be diluted? And it's like how many like things can like AI solve? It's like fuck.
Yeah.
But like with a crypto token, but um yeah. It's just interesting because like I'm looking at a lot of meme coins and I'm like, well, these won't go lower because BTC is so much higher, but a lot of them just don't have any buyers. It's not a problem of going lower, it's a problem of like finding people to buy them.
Mm,
Um, because like a lot of them have just hit a point where like the people who are holding them just refuse to sell because I don't know, it's down like 80%. But like that doesn't mean it's gonna go up. Like you need to find buyers. Like but as I said, there'll be select ones. I think like, PopCap, Flog, few cat coins probably will go up, but yeah,
yeah.
I'm like solely focused on like hype,
Yeah.
eco, and I've got Popcat, and I'm just yeah, just chilling in
Just
those,
chilling.
and yeah, I'm happy to sit in those. Like I'm happy to sit in hype for a while. I think it's good play. I mean that thesis could change one day, but at the moment I've like been sitting in it for a little while. And I like what the team's doing. I've like done my research. I'm happy. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. And you said you were hard to be bearish right now.
Yeah, I feel like seasonality, it's hard to be bearish. Obviously, like that doesn't mean we would just like go up only. Like we might do that stupid thing where we, like last year where we like, tapped 72K and it like just went back down again and we ranged for a while and we could just do that, which would be like kind of frustrating as well. But I can't see like anytime it like dips into a certain price, I feel like there's just buyers ready to just like step in. Um, like whether that be like 80K or 90K or
Yeah.
like I can't say like like even like a really bad like mini like similar to like the yen trade thing. Like I feel like it would have to be like something insane for it to like send it below like 75K. Um, at this point, like
Yeah.
it'd have to be like something crazy, like real black swan type operation. To send BTC like super low. There's just like so much demand for the asset now that it's that regulatory friendly and Trump presidency. Like I don't like necessarily mean that's like, and this is the issue. It's like it's so bullish for the industry, but like which coins are you gonna buy? There's so many. I don't know which coins to buy. Like
Mm,
like it used to be like Donald made a good point where he was like with meme coins in 2021 is like it was so simple. Like you had Doge and Shiba, and it's
yeah. That was it.
like if you that's all you had to buy. Like even if you bought like midway through 2021 on Shiba, you could have like made a 10x. And it's like now it's like all right, there's like memes, but it's like fuck, which meme? Like I
Yeah.
can't like you could just buy Doge obviously, but like there's just it confuses the fuck out of you because there's like literally like hundreds of thousands, and then same with AI, it's hundreds of thousands of coins. Same with like there's like so many more L1s than there were last cycle now, and there's just like the Sui, there's and they're all doing some of them are doing really well, but like there's like Sui, Say, fucking still Phantom. There's
Mm.
like all these like ones, and it's like so diluted, and like none of them actually like aside from Sol, ETH, some of the bigger ones, like a lot of them don't actually make that much money, and it's like they don't really justify their like I know we're speculative industry, but like a lot of these coins, like they don't justify their valuation. So you can't think of them in like a long term investment theory because it's like
Yeah.
when BTC goes down, these are going to go down very hard because like their valuations don't match up with their like thing. And that's why I like hype because they're making a lot of money daily. The team's like doing quite well. Um, like they're on track to make like $1 billion in revenue like
Oh, that's good.
this year, which is like kind of crazy. But and that like yeah, they're like they're only trading at like if they're making $1 billion, like they're probably trading like a 7x multiple, and like crypto, the multiples are usually way higher. So it's like I think they've got like some time to grow, if that's right. So I'm treating like hype like I would treat like a stock, like Nvidia or something like that. And I'm treating Popcat like by speculative, super speculative play, like
Yeah.
just like a meme at the
No.
moment. Yeah, and you know what? Like maybe I'll go back in the trenches if memes pop up again with like a bit of money, but like not like crazy amounts. Because I'm just like it's not me like wanting to lose money. Like I'm happy to gamble. It's just I'm just drained.
No, I get
Yeah,
it, man. I think it's really wholesome that you've kind of come full circle and now you have a belief in something that's on like a 6 to 12 month time horizon.
yeah,
I think that's like super different to like the pump dot fund style of investing that we've kind of had to have dealt with for the later
yeah,
years, later months of 2024. So that's really wholesome to see. I do agree with you about the under allocated for BTC. And I think that it's not just so much the ETFs that are now approved for Bitcoin um, that makes it so revolutionary. It's the general advice that's now given to BTC because it's now the idea that it needs to be 1 to 2% of
yeah,
like investors' portfolios. But that's like on a continuous basis. That's not just for like, in quotation marks, this cycle. That's their portfolio. So they're now kind of like conditioned to top up that percentile and like manage that percentile risk within their portfolio. So like if um, like Bitcoin goes down less than 2% and it's at 1%, then they're inclined to top that up with their cash flows or whatever to get it back to 2%. So it's now this like area where it will constantly receive flows even if it goes down, which I think is like
yeah.
kind of insane to think about. Like,
It's pretty crazy.
yeah, it's like mandatory like um, maxis
Yeah,
to
no,
some
literally.
degree. Yeah,
It's like it's kind of just like forcing people to like allocate, and like what forces people even more to allocate is like they literally have to like see it go up, and then they're like, okay, now I have to buy it. So it's like there's like this part of it where it's like the FOMO, and then like they're actually not required, but like they're advised to allocate to it. And it's like a perpetual DCA, like what people do
mm,
with like S&P 500, but like we're still like early because half the world fucking thinks it's a joke. It's like so it's like you're not even late like to it. So yeah, when you've got like outside like there's nothing on in crypto aside from like probably stable coins where like that is getting like outside money flow. Like all the money that's in BTC is like people that believe in BTC until like recently. So like previously believed in BTC. So and those people that like previously believed in BTC, like they're never going to sell either. So it's like creates like crazy demand for an asset that like could actually like go up another like 2x or something, which is kind of crazy to think about. But yeah.
yeah. Do you have any general like predictions of how high this can potentially go?
It's so hard to put like a number on it because like a number is so like um difficult to know because like yeah, it's just like a guessing game at some point. But um, what I do think will happen is because it's like an institutionalized asset, I think its dominance, BTC dominance will still go up
Yeah.
even further, which is like kind of crazy to think about, but it's like I think it's like dominance is gonna like absolutely rip to a point where I actually believe people will capitulate into BTC that were in other bags at some point right like towards the end of the cycle.
Yeah.
Because of like the craziness where they're just like, bro, why didn't I just like sit in BTC? I could have got like a 15x on the bottom or 20x on the bottom or some crazy shit, 30x on the bottom. I don't know. But I think people underestimate like how yeah, like like once BTC breaks like a range of like where it's ranging, it really does pump hair. So
Mm.
um
Yeah.
it's it's one of those things where it's it's just so like I should have like probably known this, but like when people speak about crypto like to normies, like you you think about like what coins normies know, and it's like they usually only know like two coins. It's like there's like a dude that has never bought crypto. It's
Mm.
usually just like Bitcoin and like Dogecoin, and it's like everyone on earth knows Bitcoin, but like no one really knows any of the other coins. So it's like now that like it's regulatory friendly and being like perpetual DCA'd, it's like so much like just like mind share on Bitcoin and especially just like because boomers buy it, it's like it's just kind of crazy that boomers are buying it. To be fair, I think that's like the
Yeah.
craziest part. We literally like as a collective, we convinced like boomers to actually just buy coins because they felt threatened that we were getting rich out of thin air and they weren't. Like that's literally how what it's like. It's
It's
like these
so
financial
true.
institutions like BlackRock actually were like, fuck, these dudes are actually making money outside of like our parameters. Like we need to make money as well. Like
Yeah.
we can make money on. And it's like it's the same theory of like if you can't beat them, join them, which like BlackRock and all those, Fidelity and all them have brought to this. And like we have the same thesis with like I have the same thesis with like how the government and like how they run the country. They're like most people like oh like the stock market should crash, but like I have like a completely contradictory view of like if like stock market crashes, like these politicians are going to be broke, like their net worth is going to diminish. Like they're not going to let the stock market crash. So if you can't beat
Yeah.
them, you should join them. Like they literally control all the laws. So it's like got to have that like somewhat of a theory of like you don't want to just act smart. Like that's the worst thing you can do in crypto. But yeah, like BTC, like so bullish on BTC.
Yeah.
Gutted I didn't like full port it like earlier in the cycle, but yeah, is what it
Yeah.
is.
Um, yeah, I
You
think
buy it,
it's
you buy at the price you deserve. Hey.
yeah, no, I agree with that. I agree with that. I think I always thought that the reason why like yeah, I don't know. I just think it's just kind of like you said, very insane that we convinced them to 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 start giving the boomer money
Yeah,
like spending the boomer money on it. Which
it's
I thought was
crazy.
pretty funny. I'm just conscious of time because we're getting to the 2.5 hour
Yeah,
mark.
yeah, yeah. If you got like
Um,
one more question or something,
yeah, no, I got one more. Just got
whatever.
one more.
Yeah,
Because I think you've covered off a lot of things. I think you've talked about what you've learnt along the way and where you
yeah.
see the market going. What comes after crypto for you as like sticks? Are you going to retire the mantle of sticks and then, just leave this place forever, or like, have you generally given that any thought?
No, I've always like thought that I probably will like never be able to leave now. Like I look at people like Kobe and Bob Lacks and I'm like these dudes like are like richer than like most CEOs and
Mm,
like they're they're still here and for the love of the game or whatever, whether that be like I don't know what they're doing, like Bob Black still shit coins, which is kind of crazy to me.
Mm,
But no, I think for me it's like just less like super fucking degenerate shit and just like more just like shit posting and more just like enjoy like going on CT and just like enjoying reading shit
yeah.
like less doing like less in terms of like trading. I think that's what if that's what you meant in terms of like oh if you make money and then like what after that. So obviously still like heavily in the space. I'm not like going anywhere. So
Yeah.
I actually don't know what I would like. You know how people open Instagram or open Facebook every day like to check like to just do their daily doom scroll or whatever. Like that's me with like CT. It's like I don't find anything else interesting like on like Instagram or Facebook or whatever. I find like CT like quite funny and like interesting and like I feel like crypto's gotten to a point now where, which is kind of sad, but like it's actually taking a lot of people out of like other fields in which they'd be more valuable to, like say people that are working in like really like sophisticated fields, like I don't know, maybe like AI or um like I don't know, like just like medicine or something for the sole purpose of like making money, like they're like literally just in crypto to make money, but they're not like obviously contributing to society. But like that's sort of what it's come to at this point, where like
Mm,
that's how like society's come to. Like it's just so speculative in nature, and it's like taking people away from like actual, intrinsic things that are smart, like really smart, bright people that like come into crypto with the sole purpose of making money, not to like actually build something or anything like that. So that's like that's interesting to me, but I think yeah, for myself personally, it's just um like yeah, not nowhere near retiring, but just like less like trying to trying to like be more like what's his name? More like Donald, but like obviously posting more because I know he like has like big hiatuses and stuff. I'll still like
mm,
post and stuff, but like taking less trades. Like when a trade is like presented, like when there's like a huge flush or there's like he could go like months without touching shit. And I know he has
yeah.
like other shit going on. He has kid or whatever, but he like goes months without touching shit, and then he'll just find something where he's just like, this is like such a good bid, and he'll just bid it. And it's just like patient stuff like that usually is like really good, and it's like quite rewarding instead of like day trading trenches every single day, which is fine in the right conditions, but like over a long period of time, it's not. So, um, yeah, doing less, I think, but still being like relatively active because, as I said, I actually enjoy the space as a whole. I think it's like fucking it's a good mix of like so like stupid and funny and like actually like full of really smart people. Yeah, I like it.
Yeah. That's really wholesome. I like how you put yourself at the same caliber as Kobe in the sense of being around here on CT. So I'm
Yeah,
glad
just
I'm
just
friends
a
with a
lot,
future
lot.
trillionaire.
Yeah, just probably a couple billion short, but yeah, um, that's
Uh,
it.
could you find something non-crypto to get up to, do you think?
Yeah, yeah, I'm like very like heavily like I've got heaps of hobbies outside of crypto, like sport,
Mm,
like football, basketball, like to be fair, like most weekends I like when I'm not doom scrolling on CT, I'm just like either watching football or I think what I'm gonna do next year is actually go back to because I get so bored, is go back to my old high school and coach basketball and football, which in during the semesters of that specific, like when football's on and when basketball's on. So that'll be cool. Because I did that in like right before COVID, and I like when I like needed a job, and it was like a job, and it was actually really fun. Like I didn't really think of it as a job. I was getting paid for it, but it was more just like I actually found it kind of fun. So,
Mm.
um, doing that, bit of traveling here and there, and then just like yeah, not like being a complete degenerate, which I have had like patches of this cycle where like when the trenches were going off, I'd just like literally not leave the house for the day and just like fucking trade really hard. But I mean, there's obviously a time to do that. There'll probably be another time in the future to do that. But for majority, like 95% of the time, like just having a good daily routine, getting up early, because like the last thing you want to do if you're not working is just like fucking sitting in bed all morning, man. It's like the worst thing you could do. Like I feel like getting in a routine is just like so much better for your and I know like people in crypto like don't really have a routine because their life just revolves around them fucking turning like $500 into like 500K. But
Yeah.
yeah, no, I actually personally like having a routine, similar to like a normal person likes has a routine with their 9 to 5. So it's like I usually like getting up at the same time every morning
Mm.
and like going for a walk or exercising, and then doing whatever the fuck I would do after that. So yeah.
Yeah, like getting into a good like mindset, eating right,
Yeah,
sleeping
it's just
well.
like, yeah, it's like so underrated. Like, obviously, there's like a lot of people in crypto that like make a lot of money off like, being chronologically online. But like, at what point, like, do you just like stop? Like, as in, like, say you do make, life-changing money because you're chronologically online, but they just keep like going. It's like, at what point do you want to like just like actually enjoy what you've like done? And I feel like I'm at that point of the cycle where I'm like still got a lot of risk on, but I've taken like a lot off, and like now I'm just sort of, getting into a routine, like enjoying myself a bit.
Yeah.
Um, just trying to like, yeah, take it, easy for a bit.
Mm.
Uh, which, there's probably people gonna watch this be like, oh, look at this soy boy, like doesn't want to gamble. It's like, dude, trust me, I love gambling, but I need to fucking relax.
Yeah. No, I like it. I like it. Was there anything else you wanted to talk about while I've got you on? Because that pretty much does it for
Yeah.
my questions.
Nah, I think we went over everything. I think just if you're new to crypto, like chuck in a couple $100, have a fiddle around like with stuff, and just like assume you're gonna like just be like, I'll probably lose this money, but it's more of just like learning experience, like
Mm.
fiddling around with whatever it is. And I'm not gonna like say what to fiddle around in because like I don't want to tell fucking people what to do, but
Mm.
um, and then yeah, also if you're new, I'd say learn about airdrops, but that's like another like super you need to be like super like in the depths there because there's so much like scamming going on. It's actually they were so right when they said it's a crime cycle because there's
Yeah.
just so much crap going on. And so yeah, I'd if you're new to crypto, those two things would probably be the main things I'd look out for because it's kind of hard to find an edge unless you're buying BTC. If you're like really new, you're probably just going to be like exit liquidity to something. So
Mm.
um yeah, and I think having a good like healthy relationship with like if you're doing this full time, like getting into a routine because like everyone in CT jokes around, oh like haha, like you guys are wage cucking, haha. And like I mean I don't work either, but like there's been days where I've, worked more like trading coins than like a normal person worked in and like they had their 8 hour day. Like I might have
Mm.
been doing this for like 11 hours. So it's like
Yeah.
you're laughing at them, but you're just like sitting at a screen all day, like for longer. So I
Yeah.
mean, yeah, okay, cool. You can like Uber Eats food and shit, and like, but it's like, man, like at some point you need to just like have a routine, just like be healthy.
Mm.
Like, yeah, the whole point of this space is to extract money to like enjoy it, I guess. Aside from like B2C, which is probably like investable grade asset, but the rest of them, yeah, you got to enjoy it, I think, at some point. But yeah,
Yeah.
that's about it. Nah, that's all I got. So appreciate you sticking it out this long. It's been a few hours, and I'm glad I was on here for a bit. So
Yeah, no, it was awesome to have you on, man, and get your perspective of things. I think you definitely kept things uh, really condensed around like how you learn, what to look out for, what you think is like really handy to know. I like the fact that you touched on the don't bid the betas, no one knows anything, build a good group of friends, and yeah, even like the thing about having a good sleep schedule and healthy routine, I think that's so important um,
100%.
as well. I really, really like the fact that you said you feel like BTC is like undervalued and we're all under
Yeah, I feel
allocated
like
to it.
everyone's like assuming BTC is like overvalued and like their altcoins because of like bias is like because their altcoins down like 50% or something. They think like, oh, these altcoins like super undervalued. But like it's not the case. Like boomers don't even know what fucking like you've got like the third derivative of like WIF. Like boomers don't even know what WIF is, bro. Like they're not gonna
Mm,
buy any of your coins. At best, they might buy like ETH or maybe one day they might buy like XRP or Sol, but like they're not buying any of those anytime soon, and they're not even really buying that much ETH either. I mean, they are buying ETH, but like the foundation keeps dumping. um,
yeah,
but yeah, no, like that's what I mean. Like people, I can't. It's like the same people that said like S&P 500 is like overvalued or like what? It just keeps going up forever, so it's not really overvalued if it keeps going up forever. I feel like it's the same thesis with BTC at this point. So
yeah. I feel like once all the
yeah,
politicians have it in their portfolio, that's when the real
that's when the
can
real
never
fun
go
starts
down.
because they won't want it to go down. Believe me, once they see it go up, they'll fight tooth and they'll fight for it to go up. Believe me, they'll just keep doing. They'll pump print money or they'll fuck. I don't know. They'll do policies for it. Yeah, they
Yeah,
yeah. But yeah, nah. Appreciate you taking the time out to do this interview. It was really good. I'll definitely be listening into any future ones that you do with individuals.
yeah. No, it was really good to have you on, man, and um, yeah, I think you're much more modest and humble than you probably give yourself respect for because they're like for the period of time that I've known you, which is like I think coming up, it's going to be close to almost 2 years, like halfway through this year. The
Yeah,
amount of
fuck, it's been a little while now actually.
it feels a lot
The
longer considering the
depths of the
space.
bear market, yeah, to now, yeah, so
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah, as I was saying, like I think you've actually done incredibly well. Like coming up with your own thoughts, trading your own strategy, and yeah, do like actually like paving a way for yourself on some incredible opportunities, which I've been like really fortunate enough to be able to like witness you pull off some of these like amazing feats. So, um, yeah, man, it was really, really good to have you on and hear your story and hear about how you size things up and what you're anticipating into the new year. So, yeah, appreciate you coming on.
Thanks, bro. Really appreciate it. Yeah, GG's.
GG's, awesome.